Hey Gearheads, thanks for tuning in. On this episode of Dan's Garage, Dan shows you how to remove and reinstall seatbelts in a square body. Let's see how that turns out. Obviously, it's pretty good. Hey Dan, run that intro!
Getting closer to driving this thing, I figured I should probably attend to a couple of the safety features of it, as well as making it look good and sound good. So that brings us to the seatbelts. This entire interior was that deep dark red maroon, which is really cool, especially against black. But what they decided to do at some point in its history is spray paint everything black. So that included the seatbelts. I've already cleaned this side off. You can see what used to be red. Now it's all spray painted black. And they included spray painting the seat belts black, which, as you can see, does not make it pliable anymore, and probably structural integrity-wise, something or other. And also this driver's seat, as you can see, the mount is completely rusted away. What that resulted in was I was able to get this out, and then I went to take the bolt out, and the bolt did come out, and it didn't break, but it came out with the 3 carpets that were in it, and all the metal that was in the floor, and the support underneath. Check this out. So I have broken it off now because I've been cleaning it off and trying to get the rust off, but the reason that this wouldn't come out is because somebody put the bolt in crooked. So I am going to try and reuse this plate if I can get this crooked bolt out. If not, I'm sure I could buy these, but I already got this one, so we're going to test that out. The passenger side bolt broke also. That's still in the floor. That's a little bit more structurally sound than this was. So we'll see if we can fix this one and get this one in, and then we're going to try and get the passenger side bolt out too. The back seatbelt should come out and go back in pretty easily, but before we get back to working on the truck, let me show you the seatbelts we got to replace them with. So this is what we got. We got hooked up by New Boyz Square Body Rescue in Pennsylvania. I'll put their information on the screen here real quick. I'll also link them in the description. Man, what a great bunch of guys to deal with. I got an entire original set of seat belts, front and rear, retractors, and everything else. They even included the caps to cover them and the bolts that came out without breaking. This set is out of an 83, should fit into the 84 just fine. And I did tell him after I bought all this stuff before he shipped it that I also needed an armrest, and asked how much for that. He said, I just found one, I threw it in for you. So I actually got a nice driver's door armrest, which I don't have one at all, so this is really great. And it just goes to show you that there's really good people out there that if you need original parts for your vehicle, you don't want to get something new, or you need something that's original, go check out one of these online guys. Try looking up Facebook, Craigslist, all those places. But you can still find some guys out there that have some of these trucks laying around that they're willing to part for the parts for you and can get you hooked up. So I'm going to start in the back here because I've actually already had these seat belts out, so I know they'll come out nicely. Also, I can replace all the back seat belts, put the back seat back where it needs to be, and go ahead and bolt everything down, and the back side will be done, and then we can go ahead and hit the front. So these back seat belts, they do have an access port here, but it's really hard to get a socket in there. You can actually get these off if you just pry them up, and I'll show you what it looks like once I get it off. But these have 2 little These have 2 little lips on the front that attach to the metal, and once you get those off, you can kind of pry it back, and it does go with the seatbelt. This should stay in here. You can see these were broken. I tried to glue them back together, and as you can see, these were tan also. They weren't even red. That was the original color of this truck. So with this out of the way, you can access this bolt real easily. And like I said, I've had these out before, so I know it'll come out nice and easy. There we go. Right, so this is one of those back seat belts, just to show you. So these are the little pins that stick out and hold it, and it's got this little flap that kind of sits into the seat belt. So what you can do when this is in there like that is you can just pry this out, and if you separate it from these, so once you release it from the back, it'll kind of lean back, and then you can pull it out forward, and it does have 2 more tabs up here that lock in up here. So that's an easy way to pull it off. Now it is retractable, so when you pull it out, you may have to put vice grips or something on it to hold it out of the way. There we you go, nice and easy once you get them out. So these are 7/16 14, and I do have a tap for that, so I'm just going through these holes and cleaning them up. It's a lot easier just to make sure that this is clean, and also clean up your bolts. That way they'll go in a lot easier, and maybe they won't seize up next time if somebody has to pull them out. On these bolts you can see the difference a little wire wheel work makes. The one on the left is freshly cleaned, and the one on the right just has nasty stuff on it. If there's other ways to clean this, I'm sure there are, but I didn't have a die to fit this, so I couldn't clean the threads off. But a little wire wheel does good enough. Now these housings for the back, mine, I just have the lap belt. If you do have shoulder belt, it'll have the other belt coming out of here, and you'll have the port in the top of the C-pillar, which I do have in the C-pillar, but there's no nut in it, and I'm not going to convert this over right now, so these will work just fine. Alright, so I ran this down, I put some lubricant in there, and then just ran it through, tightened it all the way up without the seatbelt, and then pulled it back out, and blew out all the dust. So with that sitting down on there nice, it should be able to impact back in. There's also a weak battery. But there you go, nice and tight. Always a good idea just to check it with a ratchet, just to make sure. That's nice and tight. Alright, let's go to the insides. Sorry the floor's so dirty, it's the cleaning lady's year off. So these two inner seat belts, you can see one has the center lap belt and the other one does not. So I'm going to guess that they go this way, because this hard line for the outside is pointed here, and this one with the hard line is pointed here. So they should be pointing towards the outside, and the middle one here is going to be flexible and be in there. So that's what I'm going to go with. They also do go through holes in the bottom of the seat, so that's going to be a little bit of a trick to get that in. Go. Now we can fold this back. Let's see if this will work. Last step on these is these little caps. They just screw in there. It's like one turn. Probably pop them in if you need to. Or if you do need to screw them in, just take a really big screwdriver. I'll just turn right in there. Just cover it up. And you're good to go. Okay, I do still have my wires here. I am going to take care of them at a later date, but I'm just lifting this up so I can get that lip underneath there and get this bolt started. I should have, hopefully I have enough room with the seat in. Yep, nice and tight. Alright, so here's the final look at the seat belts. Everybody's all in and happy, and we're going to move to the front. This is the hole I'm working with on the driver's side. You can see my finger fit right through there, maybe even two. So we need to patch that some way. Hey guys, just wanted to share this with you. This is from one of the seat belts, and I think I've almost got this locked up, seized up, rusted up, cross-threaded bolt ready to come out of here. I could have probably just bought another one of these. The floor is missing anyway, but I was kind of on a mission to get this thing out. I've heated it. I've tried to drill it out. I welded nuts to it. I've done everything, but I'm on a mission, and I think this thing's going to come out, so I wanted to share it with you. I'm down to just hitting it with a hammer and a chisel. Here's what it looks like. Here's what it looks like. You can see I drilled it, and now I'm knocking it out. It was up against the side there. Well, it still was cross-threaded, but we're getting there. hopefully I can knock this thing out and tap it and reuse it. Look how much that's moving. So it's still partially seized up in here, but let's see if we can keep messing with it and get it to release. Ha! It just came out! Woohoo! Alright, so you can see there's still a piece in there, so we'll work on that next, but I think we might be able to reuse this thing. Yay! Alright, so this is threading in pretty good, and I think once the bolt is all the way in, it'll hold the seatbelt just fine. Plus I'm the guy driving, so I don't believe I was able to get this out. So persistence is key, because I was just on a mission to get this thing going. I know a lot of people give up halfway through a project, or like I said, I could have went out and bought one of these probably for less than it cost me my time, but my time isn't worth very much, so you know. And here's a bolt, and we will get that seatbelt bolted in, and that's a little loose, but once it tightens up, it'll be nice and tight in there. Here's the final look. I got a bolt in, so this is for the driver's side. I'll straighten this out a little bit, and then we got to weld on a piece of metal and put it underneath the cab when we put the seatbelt in, and we should be good to go. So let's see if we can get this bolted in. Alright, so we're under the truck. This is where the seatbelt mount is supposed to go. It used to go this way, but the hole is way bigger now. This mount is kind of shot here, but what I think I can do, sorry for the shadowing, is that's actually pretty secure. So I think I'm not just going to do that, but it's so rusted here, I think I'm going to cut a square of metal that'll kind of span here to here, and it'll come out over this hump and go in between here, and then we'll go ahead and weld it to that. So this is what I have. It's pretty thick. I mean, can't even barely flex it here, so I think this will be great metal. So I'm going to cut a piece 4 inches by 5 inches. I'll slip it under there, figure out where this needs to be, and then I'll drill 2 holes in here that I can spot weld to the sides of this. Obviously drill a hole in the center for the bolt to go in, and then I'm just going to slide this up underneath the truck and bolt the seatbelt to it. And I can't really weld this into the truck because it's all rusted, but we'll figure that out later if we need to change it. Alright, so I got the piece of sheet metal. It is 4 inches by 5 inches, so what you don't see rectangle is sandwiched between the floor that is existing and the floor support that is rusted out. That outline is pretty much where the mount's going to be, so we're going to take it back into the workbench and drill some holes. Right tool for the job, kids, adults, friends, gearheads, whatever. Alright, so now we need to weld it onto the plate. So, just weld these two, and then that's it. Then we'll just place this, take the bolt out, place this underneath, put the seatbelt in, bolt it back in, and the bolt will hold it tight, and this will be locked onto that, so this won't rotate and it'll tighten up. Alright, last thing to do before I put this in the truck is just grind down these welds so they're not going to get in the way. Okay, so all I have to do now is place this on the top, and I'm going to slide the plate in on the bottom. Take this bolt and washers up, put this over there. Hopefully this is lined up enough for me to get this bolt in and started. Alright guys, so I actually took the passenger side mount out of the truck because I thought, like I did the driver's side, it'd be a lot easier to drill it and tap it and get it working outside of the truck. So I actually just took a cold chisel and a hammer and pop, 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 knocked it out. It was in there not crazy, so it kind of came out easily enough. You can see here it just has two little spot welds that hold it on. It's really the compression of the bolt and the plate and the other pieces of metal that hold the seatbelt on. It's not like any twisting weight or anything like that. So let me grab a paper towel and we'll clean this guy up and see what it looks like after sitting in the rust soaker for a day. So looking at this one, it looks like it's centered pretty good, so I'm thinking it was just seized up in there, but it's not crooked. So we're going to try to heat it up and see if we can loosen up that rust and maybe just back it out, and we'll be in good shape. It does look a little bit crooked when you look at it this way, if I can hold it straight. But let's see if we can back it out first. If not, we'll have to drill it like the other one. First, I just want to try and clean around in here, see if we can get some of this loosened up a little bit. I am thinking I want to pull it down from the top down to the bottom. That might be the easiest way to get it through. This is all the way down here. This is up here, so that's kind of concerning. But let's go ahead and flip it over and see if we heat it up a little bit and put some vice grips on it. See if it looks like it's going to move at all. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's rotating. I could go ahead and weld a nut onto it like I did the other one, but honestly, I don't think that's going to work. And I know these are really light bolts. They're not grade 8s, so they drill out really easily. So let's just go right for that. So we'll go ahead and grind this flat so I can get a good center on it and put it in the drill press. And we'll start grinding. Drilling. Okay, so definitely want to get this like right in the center. I know that's easier said than done, but if we can get it in the center once, then that'll make our drilling a lot easier. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna go for it. Wish me luck. Should be a lot easier than the other one, since this one's not crooked. Alright, so the hole's pretty big, and that top area looks pretty thin, so I'm going to try and hammer that down and see if we can get somewhere without drilling anymore. We're going to lock this in here. This top is the thinnest area, so I'm going to try and just see if I can chisel this down. This is why I left this on the end. If any of you were commenting, why don't you just grind that off so it's less to drill through? This is the reason I left that on. It seemed to work good on the other one. It seems to be working okay on this one. Let's see if we can grab this with a vice grips and see if anything will happen. There, you can see. Look, it's starting to move. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to thread it out because of all the damage I've done, but since I got it moving, what I can do is keep spraying it and keep moving it little by little, and if I can actually thread it out, that's going to protect my threads the best. So, this right here, my friends, is a lesson in persistence and patience. And of course, when you're trying to back something out, if you can get it to move a little bit, it should move all the way. You want to check the threads on the other side, but if you just go a little bit at a time, it should kind of reform those threads. You can see how far I'm getting now. We'll just take our time, give it a little bit more each push. And we're actually threading it in right now because I'm on the back side of it. So you also want to look at whether you're threading it in or out, which way is the best to do it, where more of the damaged threads are. Yep, there we go. It's a little loose in there. I don't know why. But once it tightens up, we should be good to go. Yep. So I might do with this one what I did with the other one and just sandwich it in there. And I'll worry about welding it later when I do the floors and everything else on this thing. Now there's one last thing I want to show you about these shoulder bolts. Because these are shoulder bolts, you have these bolts over here that go for the shoulder part of the seat belt. There's two different kinds of these. Let me show you. Because this truck is a 1984, I'm not sure when they went from standard threads to metric threads, but you can easily see the difference in the threads. These are coarse and a lot thicker. These are fine, a lot thinner. So you definitely want to make sure which size you have and make sure you're not trying to put the wrong ones in. So let's go finish up the install. Alright, so these shoulder bolts are the last pieces of the puzzle to go in. Sorry, I know it's dark, but I don't have any lights out here right now, and I just want to get this done. So just make sure the seatbelt is angled the right way. And these are also the only bolts that have shoulders on them, because this does have to rotate a little bit. You just peel this cover back and go ahead and get it started. These also have Loctite on them, so they will go in pretty snug, and they will bottom out when it's in all the way on that shoulder. Alright, once that's tight, you just click this over the top, and there you go. Has room to rotate. Alright guys, so I can't finish the shoulder belt portion on the driver's side because I still have to put all the trim back in and finish up the dash, so hopefully you'll be seeing that video coming soon. But for now, the seat belts are done, so safety first, moving on to the next part.
Well, that's it for this episode. You can leave comments below, give this video a thumbs up, and make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you get notifications when new videos are uploaded.
Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, stay positive, keep on wrenching.
I can't go in there.
Let's just go like this. It's just a web, there's no spider. Just... Huh?
Huh?
You what?
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 Who?
Alright, get back out, do it again.
Again?
This entire interior was red. It was like a from Square Boyz, Square Body Photo. New Boyz, Square Body Rescue. Look at how much that's moving. Look at how much that's not in focus. You know my theory. If it ain't working, get a bigger hammer. Woo! I deserve a break.